Chawla, arts educator, Bharatanatyam dancer and disciple of Guru Srimati Geeta Chandranji. We are studying about cross literacy among artists. So, we will continue with the visual artist. A visual artist who appreciates rhythm, gesture and movement. Key principles of dance and music can capture dynamism more effectively in their work. Knowledge of lay, tal and the expressive vocabulary of abhinaya allows painter and sculptors to depict motion, emotion and narrative more convincingly. Many Indian artistic traditions such as Chola bronzes, Ajanta murals and Pahari miniatures reflect an intimate understanding of movement and rhythm rooted in performing arts. Cross literacy also facilitates interdisciplinary collaboration, which has become increasingly important in both traditional and contemporary art practices. Dancers work with musicians and stage designers. Theatre artists collaborate with visual designers, puppeteers, and digital media creators, and digital installations integrate sound, imagery, narrative, and performance. A shared artistic vocabulary makes such collaborations not only possible but deeply enriching. Within the Indian context, the value of cross literacy is even more pronounced due to the shared cultural and philosophical foundations of the arts. Concepts such as rasa, bhava, symbolism, spirituality, mythology, and narrative structures permeate all the art forms. An artist who understands these interwoven foundations operates not only with the technical skills but with cultural and philosophical insights. Thus, cross literacy is not merely an added advantage, it is a necessity for holistic artistic development. It nurtures a more sensitive, versatile, and culturally grounded artist capable of contributing to India's richly interconnected artistic heritage. Now, let's study about the contemporary trends and the fusion practices. In the 21st century, Indian art has entered a dynamic phase where boundaries between disciplines are increasingly fluid. Globalization, digital technology, and transnational cultural exchange have opened new pathways for experimentation, collaboration, and hybrid forms of creativity. As a result, interdisciplinary and fusion practices have moved from the margins to the mainstream of India's cultural landscape. One of the most visible trends in the rise of fusion music, where artists blend classical traditions such as Carnatic or Hindustani with jazz, electronic music, world percussion, or Western harmonic structures. Concerts featuring jugalbandis, cross-genre ensemble, and global orchestral collaborations between various arts highlight how Indian music adapts to new sensibilities while preserving its inherent raga tala framework. This movement has broadened audiences, introduced Indian sound to global platforms, and encouraged musicians to reinterpret tradition in contemporary context. In contemporary dance and choreography, artists increasingly incorporate elements from multiple styles. Classical dancers integrate martial arts, theatre techniques, yoga, or contemporary movement vocabularies to create innovative performance languages. productions that combine Bharatanatyam with digital projections, or Odissi with spoken word, or minimalistic soundscape reflect the evolving aesthetic of Indian performance art. These choreographic experiments often explore modern themes, identity, urban life, gender issues, while remaining rooted in classical sensibilities. The influence of interdisciplinarity is even stronger in visual arts and media based practices. Multimedia installations, video art, digital storytelling, and performance art integrate sound design, choreography, cinematography, sculpture, and interactive technologies. Major art festivals and biennales across India, such as Kochi Muziris Biennale, have showcased works that blend traditional craft with augmented reality, or classical dance gestures with projection mapping, creating immersive sensory experiences. Such practices redefine how audiences engage with art, making them participants rather than passive viewers. Cinema, India's most influential cultural medium, continues to serve as a natural meeting ground for literature, theatre, music, visual design, and dance. Contemporary films employ advanced digital technologies for set design, sound engineering, and choreography, while exploring traditional aesthetics through new narratives, structures. Experimental filmmakers and independent artists increasingly draw from classical rasa theory, poetic imagery, and performative elements to enrich cinematic expression. However, the rise of fusion also brings forth the challenge of maintaining artistic depth and integrity. When artists blend multiple forms without understanding their foundational principles, the result may appear superficial or fragmented. True interdisciplinary innovation requires rigorous study, respect for each tradition involved, and an informed creative purpose. Meaningful fusion emerges not from mere juxtaposition of styles, but from a deep internalization of their aesthetics, techniques, and philosophies. Thus, contemporary interdisciplinary trends open exciting horizons for Indian art, expanding its vocabulary, audiences, and expressive potential. At the same time, they remind us that innovation thrives only when grounded in knowledge, sensitivity, and an authentic engagement with the artistic traditions that form the bedrock for India's cultural heritage. Now, let's study about the contribution of inter-arts to human development. Indian philosophical traditions have always viewed the art not merely as aesthetic pursuits, but as essential pathways for cultivating holistic human development. From the Vedic period to contemporary education systems, art has been understood as a transformative force that shapes the physical, emotional, intellectual, social, and spiritual dimensions of an individual. When multiple art forms are engaged together, their combined influence creates an even more profound developmental impact. Dance, for example, integrates movement, rhythm, memory, expression, and spatial awareness. Classical dance forms like Bharatanatyam, Odissi, or Kathak demand precision, stamina, balance, and coordination, thereby nurturing physical discipline. Simultaneously, Abhinaya deepens emotional intelligence by teaching the dancer how to embody and communicate nuanced feelings through gestures and expression. The narrative dimension of dance cultivates empathy and an understanding of human relationships, mythic stories, and cultural values. Music, with its emphasis on listening, pitch accuracy, rhythm, and improvisation, strengthens concentration, auditory sensitivity, and cognitive processing. Learning a raga involves pattern recognition, emotional resonance, creativity, and patience. Music has been shown to regulate emotions, reduce stress, and enhance memory, qualities central to psychological well being. Indian music, with its meditative and devotional dimensions, also nurtures inner calm and emotional balance. It has a meditative quality. In visual arts, painting, sculpture, and drawing develop finer motor skills, visual discrimination, and imaginative thinking. Through color, form, and composition, learners engage their perceptual abilities and discover new ways to interpret the world. Creativity in visual arts encourages openness, experimentation, and the capacity to visualize ideas that transcend literal representation. When these arts interact, their developmental impact becomes multidimensional. For instance, a dancer who studies music gains a deeper sense of timing and emotional modulation. A musician who engages with literature becomes more expressive and interpretative. An artist who observes theatrical performance learns gestures, dynamics, and storytelling. This interconnected learning nurtures cognitive flexibility, allowing individuals to shift perspectives, integrate diverse skills, and process complex information with ease. Moreover, participation in the inter-arts activities fosters social and cultural awareness. Group performances teach cooperation, leadership, responsiveness, and collective creativity. Shared artistic experiences build community bonds, sensitivity to others, and an appreciation for cultural diversity. This aligns with the Indian concept of sanskar, refinement of self through disciplined practice and aesthetic engagement. In essence, the inter-arts approach contributes to the formation of a well-rounded human being, one who is physically balanced, emotionally intelligent, socially sensitive, culturally rooted, and intellectually curious. By engaging with multiple artistic disciplines, individuals not only develop their creative capacities but also acquire qualities associated with a cultured, empathetic, and harmonious personality. The arts, therefore, serve as powerful instruments for human refinement and holistic growth. To conclude this, the interaction between various art forms in India reveals a profound philosophical coherence that underlines their outward diversity. Although each discipline, whether dance, music, theatre, literature, or visual arts, possesses its own language, techniques, and training system, they all emerge from shared cultural values, aesthetic theories, and spiritual foundations. The intrinsic unity is articulated most clearly through concepts such as rasa, bhava, dhwani and symbolic representation, which allow different art forms to communicate with one another and collectively shape India's artistic identity. Given the depth, specialization, and lifelong discipline required, it is unrealistic for any individual to master every art form. Yet, the Indian tradition never insists on such mastery. Instead, it promotes interconnected knowledge, a foundational literacy that enables artists to understand related disciplines and enrich their own practice. When a dancer appreciates music and sculpture, when a musician understands poetry and rhythm in movement, or when a visual artist is sensitive to performance and narrative, the creative process becomes fuller, deeper, and more meaningful. In the contemporary world, marked by fusion practices, digital technologies, and interdisciplinary experimentation, this cross literacy becomes even more important. It ensures that innovation is grounded in understanding rather than superficial mixing, and that new expression remain connected to India's aesthetic heritage. Such awareness empowers artists to engage responsibly with tradition while navigating creative possibilities of the modern age. Ultimately, the interconnectedness of Indian arts nurtures not only artistic excellence but also holistic human development through the combined influence of movement, sound, imagery, narrative, and emotional expression. Individual cultivate sensitivity, discipline, imagination, cultural awareness, and inner refinement. The art thus become pathways to personal growth and cultural continuity. In essence, while one may specialize in a single discipline, it is the synergy among the art that sustains India's diverse yet unified artistic civilization. A cross-disciplinary sensibility allows artists to remain rooted in tradition, open to innovation, and capable of contributing meaningfully to India's vibrant and evolving cultural landscape. I want you to hold on to one simple understanding. In India, the art have never lived alone. They breathe through each other. Even when we specialize in one field, dance, music, theatre, literature, or visual arts, we carry within us the echoes of all the other forms. And the interconnectedness is not just an ancient idea found in the Nāṭyaśāstra. It is something you can see happening right now, all around you. Think, for example, about the Hornbill festival in Nagaland. When you watch a Naga warrior dance, you are not just seeing movement, you are hearing the drum beats, absorbing the storytelling, noticing the craftsmanship of the costumes, the textures of the textile, and the colors of the body paint, and even the rhythm of the chants in the background. It is a living demonstration of how music, dance, craft, and oral traditions come together to create one unified cultural experience. Nothing exists in isolation there. The same spirit can be seen in festivals organized by Sangeet Natak Akademi, whether it is a classical dance festival, a folk celebration, or theatre-based gathering. You always witness multiple art forms supporting and enriching one another. A dancer's performance shines because the musician is guiding the mood, A costume designer is shaping the character. A stage designer is crafting the visual space. And a poet's words are giving emotional meaning. When such festivals bring folk artists, classical performers, puppeteers, musicians, and storytellers together, you can feel how each tradition borrows from the other, creating a shared cultural dialogue. Similarly, Khajuraho Dance Festival offers another beautiful space for artists. There, the environment itself becomes part of the art. When a dancer performs in front of a magnificent temple sculptures, the boundaries between visual and performing arts completely dissolve. You begin to see how the frozen stone postures carved centuries ago inspire the movement of the living dancer today. The dance, the music, the lighting, the architecture, and the poetry behind the choreography all blend to form a single aesthetic experience. It reminds us that Indian art has always been a continuous conversation across time and disciplines. And if we look at something contemporary like the Serendipity Arts Festivals in Goa, you will see even more dramatic collaborations taking place. Here, artists from dance, music, photography, theatre, crafts, culinary, culinary arts, film, and digital media creates work together. You may walk into a hall expecting a dance performance and suddenly find yourself surrounded by projection mapping, sound installations, or interactive sculptures. Musicians work with visual artists, dancers work with filmmakers, and designers shape performances alongside theatre practitioners. It reflects the world you are entering now, a world where interdisciplinary creativity is not an exception but the norm. So, the real lesson I want you to take away today is this. Even though you will specialize deeply in your chosen discipline, it is essential for you to keep your artistic horizon open. Understanding other art forms will not dilute your talent, it will refine it. So, if you want to gain knowledge of every form, take it, but do specialize in one and do a rigorous practice of the art form, whatever you are choosing. A dancer who listens deeply to music will dance with greater sensitivity. A musician who understands poetry will sing with richer feeling. A visual artist who observes movement and rhythm will paint with more life. And most importantly, as future artists, scholars, and cultural practitioners, your ability to appreciate and collaborate across forms will shape the depth and relevance of your work. You don't have to master every art form. Nobody can, but you should be literate in them, aware, curious, and responsive. Because the strongest artists today, just like in the past, are those who specialized in one field but remain beautifully connected to all. This is the true power of Indian artistic tradition, a celebration of depth and a celebration of unity. And as you move forward in your artistic journeys, remember that your creativity will grow not only from what you practice but also from what you observe, absorb and share across the vast landscapes of the art. It is very important for an individual, whatever subject that individual is choosing and thinking of to carry forward with that particular subject. It is very important for the individual to observe it deeply, absorb it through osmosis, view each and everything very in very calm way and try to absorb each and every form of it and then share across the vast landscape of the art with the knowledge and with the true essence of it. So, this is very important for an individual to carry on with them. So, there are many festivals with the government of India is organizing where you can see the blend and amalgamation of various art forms. In every part of India you can see this, even the North India or the South India or the Middle India. So, the festivals like Nāṭyaśāstra festivals, they are also organizing the collaboration of the artists and they all are coming together and presenting their form in front of the audiences. So, that is how interconnectedness of dancers form or various forms are coming together. So, that is how this blending of the art and the ancient idea which is found in Nāṭyaśāstra is taking us forward with the artists. And you can see all this happening right now all around you. So, and even the Hornbill festival which happens in Nagaland, there you will see the amalgamation of various folk arts, the craftsmanship of the costumes and the texture of the textile. So, everything comes together, blend together and then you are able to see the whole forming in one. So, that is how it is very important for an individual to have the mastery in one but do have knowledge of others because that helps you in blending every other art form together. So, when you watch, when you are hearing the drum beats, absorbing the storytelling and noticing the craftsmanship of the costumes, so that colors and body paints, so that is the living demonstration of how music and dance and craft and the oral tradition have come together to create a unified cultural experience which cannot exist in the isolation anywhere. It needs to be come together and then celebrated by the community. So, this spirit can be seen in every festival of our country wherever you go. So, it carries on with them and that is how it flourishes. With this, I conclude my lecture. Thank you.